So the next thing I wanted to do was get the axle into position, into its new stretch position. It was stretched already as far as I could with the gas tank there, but it's centered in the wheel well now, and I checked the clearance with it in the old position. You can see there's the center line of the axle. I measured back to back here. I wanted to push it back as far as I could without obviously making contact. So yeah, I had about 3.5 inches max stretch I could go, and that would be with the wheel tucked. So right now I set it for 3 inches stretch, and then I'll have some extra adjustment in the arms if I want to push it back a little further. So I got the control arms disconnected. I dropped this down into its new home. You can see we're at the center of the axle here. This works really well. I have the Centurial tubing tools, just a magnet basically. They're really strong magnets. Made these guys, but this is theirs for notching, holding tubes together, marking your center line. Bunch of really cool stuff. I'm excited to use it more, but this works really nice for that. Next thing I need to do is get the stiffeners on. So I have to cut off these old brackets, uppers, lowers, get the stiffeners on, and then get my lower mounts into position. So those are gonna be dropped down 1.5 inches from where this hole was before. See, my dry shaft is no longer long enough. I might retube it. That's a later problem. I've been waiting for this to come. This I'm replacing with this, both Seymour brand. This is obviously the stainless, kind of like Steel It. Haven't used either one yet, so we'll see how this works, but this is half the price of Steel It, so had good reviews. In the meantime, since I was waiting on that, I made my 1.5 inch spacers to drop my lower control arm brackets down. The regular 4-link 4-wheel drive lower control arm bracket. I pretty much just made these just to space it down that 1.5 inch I needed to get my my numbers I'm looking for. Just got these little cross braces in there, cutouts to let water out. So I sort of curve this end off a bit just to kind of make it blend in a little better. I would do the same thing on this side, but I might be adding some kind of tubing or something in there. Wanted to leave that easier to work with when the time comes. So I got the old brackets off, cleaned this up the best I could. So I got the bottom cleaned. This is that kind of concave area, so I just left that. So I got that cleaned up. Got my stiffener here. So I'm going to just wipe this off with alcohol, spray it with that Seymour stainless paint, and then do the same thing on the back side of the stiffener. Right, Max? So that is the plan. Then I can finally get the stiffener welded on, and then my lower control arm brackets on. And the next step is the uppers, which are gonna be a little trickier. Here we go. My favorite time, welding to the unibody. I'm hoping that this paint is a lot better to weld through compared to that galvanized dog shit. It's also possible that the base metal is the problem, since that's obviously galvanized steel. You can usually see when you're grinding it, kind of like a white film or haze, which is the zinc coating. So I try and clear it from that little bit of white, but it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Also, this is relatively thin, so I didn't want to go at it too hard. In the future, I will probably just buy a spot weld cutter. This is, I know it's gonna get covered, but it does look kind of ugly. So I'm gonna get this guy on. Outside's bare still, the inside is stainless steel painted. Okay guys, let me show you around, see what we got going on here. So you can see I have the stiffeners in both sides in lower control arm mounts. So these are our 4-link 4-wheel drive mounts. I built these spacers all 1/4 inch. This side is flat. I'm gonna end up making a belly skid of some sort, so I'll probably do something in here. I wanna make some kind of like bracing that goes over to the other side. I'm guessing it's going to be incorporated into the belly skid. Yeah, this stiffener turned out pretty nice. The other side I had a lot of problems with like contamination from the galvanized steel. I don't know if it's thinner or I was burning through and I would get the galvanized on the other side, or I just didn't grind it enough. My vertical height here is perfect from what my 4-link calculator says. So I got another look ski here. Most of it came out well. There's a couple spots like this it blew through a little, but I'm probably gonna be putting something in here anyways. So now my upper links, you can see the mounts up there. I'm actually gonna be cutting those off and putting on wider mounts that fit larger bolts, but I'm just gonna use that for now because that's still gonna be like the center line of the axle. From there to here is my 26 and a half inches. So where this line is here, my vertical height is gonna be 29 and a half inches off the ground. So my bolt ideally will be 1/2 inch above the floor. All right, I'm gonna try not have this fall and hit me in the face. Here's the side piece, and there's gonna be another side over here. I just don't have it out here right now. So I'll mark this kind of where it lines up here. Mark it at my correct angle, and then I'll cut it out so I can recess the bracket up there. So I think after that, I'm gonna make a plate section for in here to stiffen that up. And what I think I wanna do is use this center hole for my 29 and a half inches. So that's the plan. I'll just start cutting and see what happens.